This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review Venom: The Last Dance. Plus, Marvel delays Blade again and gives Spider-Man 4 a release date. We got reviews for the latest episodes of Agatha All Along and The Penguin and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, October 28th, 2024.
You know who this is, and you know why you're here. You want all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news, and by God, you found it. Forget everything else out there. Forget all the Scientology bullshit. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Worship at the feet of the holy trio of geekdom. The Jock and Nerd Podcast. Play it.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up.
Jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Hello, what's up, listener? Thank you for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us from his secret location at Areola 51, it's a puppet that is bonded with a alien symbiote, and all it did was give him a rash. So we're going to call him Rasher, or you can call him Rug Boy.
Venom. Call me Denim.
We'll call him Denim.
Call me Venmo and send me some cash.
Yeah, I'll send you some lotion for that rash there, Rugs. I know, it's itchy.
Yeah.
Belties are itchy. You know what? That reminded me, when I was younger, I have this vitiligo, right? When I was in high school.
Oh, you had vitiligo when you were younger?
Yes,
Never knew.
I still have it. But when I wasn't fully covered,
yes,
when it was just on my hands and my elbows, it kind of looked like a glove. But the pattern where the white and the brown met always looked like how they used to draw Venom's costume going onto Peter when they first introduced Venom. So I would just pretend I was a reverse Venom. A real slow reverse alien symbiote.
You were anti-Venom.
I was because he is white, isn't he? There you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Geek boner. I'm actually anti-Venom. Oh, we figured it out. That's wonderful.
No one mentioned the penis or anything.
Yes.
You did it.
No dick jokes. We're going to continue.
We almost made it without saying penis.
We got, speaking of Venom, we're going to talk about that third movie. We got some episodes of comic book TV to review and a couple of things in the news. Let's get started.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Just a couple of things I want to discuss with you guys. I need your thoughts. Let's start with the news about Marvel Studios' Blade movie that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con 2019 with Mahershala Ali. That has gone through 2 directors. It's gone through about 6-7 writers at this point. I've lost count. It had a release date of November 7th, 2025. Well, it has been entirely removed from Marvel's release schedule.
Floppy Jock.
I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. We were just waiting for something because everyone is like, this movie's never getting made. I heard a couple of rumors about why. One was that Feige wanted to focus on a Midnight Suns movie where he could introduce the new Blade and you would see more supernatural things, and you have characters like Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night and maybe Ghost Rider and Agatha and Ironheart. And then another article saying, oh, they're not doing Blade because they want to focus on the multiverse saga. And it's not a multiverse thing. And both of these things kind of sound like excuses. What have you guys heard? Apparently Mahershala Ali still on board. He's not going anywhere because whatever plan they have for this Blade, I think he likes it and he wants to do it, but he's going to be 75 years old in this fucking movie.
I mean, I haven't heard anything other than what you're saying. I did hear, maybe this was a rumor I saw on Twitter, or I don't know where, and it might not be even true, but that James Gunn was looking at Mahershala Ali for Martian Manhunter.
Oh, That's
But
interesting.
I don't know if that was true or not. So take that with a grain of salt. As far as my overall thoughts on Blade, I was super excited. And was it 2019 when they said Mahershala Ali is doing Blade?
Yeah.
And then we've had what we've had these last 5 years, and with no end in sight. I do agree that as we go along, it doesn't really seem like Blade or horror really makes sense to introduce in the multiverse right now.
Sure.
Although they are doing Agatha, so I guess there's that. And they had the thread at the end of Eternals with Blade's voice.
Yeah.
I think the big thing here is what you mentioned just now, Imran, is Mahershala Ali's in his, is he 50? I don't know how old he is, but he's old. He's an older guy now.
Yeah.
So if Mahershala Ali was younger, I would say, you know what? Unless, I would say keep plowing ahead. Now, unless he's got some sort of contract and he's insistent on doing it and they can't get out of it, I think at this point you just pull the plug and say, you know what? This is just a cursed project. It's not happening right now. It doesn't even make sense to try to squeeze this in to what we're doing if we're going to go with Doom and multiverse and Secret Wars and Blade. I don't know what role he really has in that. And then you would just be making the movie just to make a movie. So I think you just pull the plug if you can.
Not a great idea.
Contract. So
Mahershala Ali is 50 years old, and they were on some podcast. They were talking about, I think it was John Roca. Like, is he getting paid to wait this whole time? He's got to have some kind of stake in this. Do you just get Wesley Snipes? Did Wesley curse this whole fucking thing? Just get Wesley back.
I don't think it's Wesley's fault.
No.
It's just that we had this idea of having this young spring chicken Blade, and now we're getting an old Blade. So if we're going to have an old Blade, might as well have the old Blade.
Right, the original old Blade. And then, how hard is it to write a Blade movie? Somebody else said, just make it The Raid with vampires. And I'm like, yeah, just make it John Wick with vampires. Like, this is not hard. You don't have to spend a lot of money.
It's the easiest movie there is to make, and it won't cost a lot if they don't want it to.
Right.
So I don't know what the holdup is, to be honest with you.
It's kind of crazy. It is, but clearly it's not scrapped right now. It's just being pushed back. That date now has been replaced with Predator Badlands coming out November 7th, 2025. From
Predator Badlands.
Yes. That is Dan Trachtenberg's Predator movie. That is the sequel to Prey.
I didn't even know that was happening. Have we ever talked about this?
No. It's Dan Trachtenberg. Elle Fanning is going to be in it. And I've heard this title.
It's not the sequel. It's saying it's a
whole
standalone
separate thing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the 7th film in the series. Yeah. Dan Trachtenberg directed, what did he direct? He directed a couple good things. Was it, 10 Cloverfield Lane and Prey.
I like that.
He did direct Prey. So they're doing Predator Badlands. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, the premise here, and this is in Wikipedia, is while traversing a wasteland, two sisters discover their horrifying past.
Oh. Okay.
That's all you got.
Okay. Yeah,
This is the first I've heard of this idea.
Yeah, so, and they're still making a Prey sequel, but this is just another.
How do you know that?
I don't know.
I think you're making that up.
I thought I heard that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe Dan Trachtenberg's doing this.
He's doing this, right? So maybe this is the next Predator movie.
Not to make this totally about Predator, but I like the idea of Predator films, and if they wanted to do Alien, like make these films just random adventures with these characters. You don't need to have them all be connected.
No, they are, especially with those two franchises. You can jump in and out and tell fun stories.
Right.
We're getting more Alien. There's a TV show coming. We're getting Predator, Badlands. So that's kind of fun. But we're not.
Isn't Badlands a video game?
It's a Bruce Springsteen song also. Is that Badlands? No, that's Borderlands.
There was a TV show called Into the Badlands.
There was yes. That was a martial arts show, right? With I watched, I think, the first season of that. Borderlands is the movie that flopped from.
The Into the Badlands was like a show that had like extensive martial arts scenes about a wasteland that people live in.
Yeah, it was actually kind of cool. I just caught a couple of episodes of the first season. It wasn't bad. Anyways, we're not getting Blade. We're just gonna have to wait. And look, if they're gonna wait to make it right, then wait, take your time. But it's kind of ridiculous. And Marshall Ali is still around for now. What we are getting is a Spider-Man 4.
Geek boner.
We have a date. We have a director. And we have a script. Spider-Man 4 set to be released July 24th, 2026. Sony announced Tom Holland and Zendaya is coming back. Tom Holland recently talked about him and Zendaya had read the script together and they liked it. And directing this, I don't know if this was, we ever knew this. Destin Daniel Cretton is directing Spider-Man 4.
I think we talked about that.
Did we know that? I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I was like, man, did we know that? So, couple of things.
I thought he was directing the other movie.
Well, he was going to do an Avengers movie, and then he dropped out of that.
Oh.
And then I don't know if he was
We talked about it. We talked about it.
Okay, so we knew that.
We did, because I remember saying that him getting Spider-Man still meant to me that Marvel really believes in him.
Yes.
Because they gave him Avengers, and that was obviously a big deal.
I thought,
was Kang.
Secret Wars. He's supposed to do like something with.
No, he was on Kang Dynasty originally.
Yeah, he got Kang.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they pivoted to Spider-Man for him, I think, was like hey, we know this kind of got fucked up, and it was a mess, but we still believe in you, so you're going to get a giant franchise to lead.
No, I do remember talking about this and going, that's a good pick. I'm actually glad. I think he could pull it off. He has kind of the fun playfulness that like John Watts brought to it, like very similar kind of styles, I guess, if you think about it. And it's still very Marvel house style. But the date is interesting because that means this movie is coming out a couple of months after Avengers Doomsday. It will be in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. And further rumors are stating that it will take place in that time frame. It won't be like a prequel thing like they did with the Black Widow movie. So that's also crazy because in 2026, Tom Holland will be in 3 movies. He's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. He's going to be in Spider-Man 4. And he is cast with Matt Damon in Christopher Nolan's next movie that comes out in 2026. So Holland and Damon are doing a Nolan flick. But so that begs the question right? The last time we saw him, what happened? Everybody forgot who he is. He had to stitch his own costume together. He finally had a comic accurate cloth, homemade costume he's swinging around. So the next time we see him in Doomsday, no one will know that he's Peter Parker. I'm still unclear if they even are aware of Spider-Man. They must be. They won't know who he is. So that's interesting. And then that's setting up Battle Worlds. What the fuck? Spider-Man 4 is going to be crazy. Have you guys heard any of the rumors or news about what Spider-Man 4 may be? Or first of all, thoughts on that. What do you think?
What, on him being Spider-Man again?
Yeah, they're making a 4. They got a script that's coming out between the 2 Avengers movies.
I feel like it's an inevitability, right? Like it has to happen. They got to
like Thanos.
I'm inevitable. Yes.
Yeah.
Inevitable, I think.
Okay. So Sony wants to make Spider-Man movies because they got the license. So they're going to want to make movies. Marvel's going to have to make movies because Sony wants to make movies. So it's inevitable that they're going to make another Spider-Man movie. We know that it's going to be Tom Holland and they're going to be continuing from the last movie. So it's kind of like not a surprise, but what is it going to be about? I really don't know. Do you know?
Well, that's the question. The battle between Marvel and Sony was Marvel wanted a grounded street level thing. Sony's like, no, we want multiverse. We want these other Spider-Man because it made us a fucking $1 billion. The other rumor was there will be a new love interest, maybe a black cat. And then once we talk about Venom, that there's all that possibility of Null and Venom and all that bullshit that they've been saying. Anthony, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only question that was to be answered was, is Marvel going to be involved with Sony when they make Spider-Man 4?
Right.
And even that wasn't really, both sides kind of know they need each other for this.
Yeah.
Sony needs the money, but they also know that they can't, what they created on the other side isn't working.
Can't use that.
So they don't, they can't just default and go, hey, we'll put Tom Holland with what we're doing and it'll work. So they kind of know, but then, Marvel obviously wants Peter to be involved, Peter Parker's character, Peter Parker, the character, to be involved in future Avengers movies. And it's just good business to have Spider-Man interact with all the other Marvel characters that exist. So it's just good business there. I did hear that rumor that Sony wants a big multiversal movie. It would seem to me the move would be to go street level,
right?
If it was my choice. But given where it's being released in between the two Avengers films, this inevitably seems like a multiverse Spider-Man interacts with Battle World type thing.
So I heard
reading the tea leaves. That's what I see.
Because I heard Sony dictates the distribution. Pretty much Sony has picked this date. They have decided we want the boost from Doomsday going into Spider-Man. And then probably they're like, yes, we want it to affect them.
It's such an interesting dynamic here because you got these two different companies that have two different interests altogether.
Absolutely.
The common interest is to make boatloads of money.
Right.
But Sony wants to parlay it so they can have all these spin-offs.
Right.
And to boost their other shit. And Marvel's like, they have ownership of like this character because they put this Tom Holland character on the map into their universe.
They have
so it's very interesting, this push and pull. And the fact that they've been able to make any movies that are decent is surprising.
That's a good point.
I really like, how do you, in this fucking environment, how do you do that? Like you got all these things. I mean, Marvel's making shitty movies on its own.
Well, I feel like Sony has let Marvel handle the creative for so far.
They did.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
been the deal.
Yeah, for Spider-Man.
I feel like ever since Into the Spider-Verse got critical acclaim.
Yes.
And they've seen this multiverse shit and they need it to be directly related. Like that's the only way you get eyes on any of their stupid fucking Madam Webs or whatever
and we'll get into it because we're going to review another fucking Sony Spider-Man-less Spider-Man universe movie. But you could do your own Miles Morales live action on the Sony side. You got Andrew Garfield, still got some miles.
If I was over at Sony, I would have made my own Spider-Man universe.
Yes,
to rival Marvel's and just show them how to do it.
Sure, if they want to do that,
but they did try to do that. And they fucking failed.
I'm saying with a separate Spider-Man entirely.
No,
they did. They did try to do that.
They did.
Andrew Garfield.
They did. They did twice.
Well, they did it wrong. So,
right. They don't know how to do it. That's why this whole thing happened.
Well, I think that the time for that is now because, like, they still have Tom Holland, which people like, right?
Right.
And now they have Andrew Garfield, who people now like again too.
Yeah.
And they have this. You gotta remember when they made that Andrew Garfield, like Tobey Maguire was still in the game. He could have done it.
Yeah.
It's like when you give up Henry Cavill for this new guy. Like now this guy's got everything pegged against him. So, and it's the same thing when you have with Batman, when you have fucking Twilight guy taking over from the other guy from the Nolan movies. So there's always an animosity towards the new person. And now I think there's been so much going on in the multiverse and stuff. I think people are a little bit more broken into it. I think you could do it now.
I think Marvel, part of their agreement though is that they can't do an additional Spider-Man movie on their own because if you watch all these Sony movies, Marvel Spider-Man-less movies, they don't even really mention.
Well, there was like a shot of Spider-Man and there was like a picture of Spider-Man in the other movie,
but it's very coy. I mean, it's very much the way it looks to me is they're just threading the needle on that stuff.
But there was a shot of Spider-Man in the Morbius trailer that never made the movie. There's never, in fact, when we get to Venom, they tease the fucking shit and then they just retcon it and give you fucking floppy jock because I
don't think they can.
No, they could never close the deal. And then Marvel can't use some of these villains that Sony is burning. So it's an entirely fucked deal that each side has to just get whatever.
Well, that's probably why they have to go multiversal.
We are getting the worst Spider-Man right now. I think because of what you're saying, you have this competing company that's making shitty movies and ruining the characters.
Yeah.
And then you got this that they can only do so much. and
what's left over.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's probably why they're doing multiversal too, is because they're burning all the villains that they could use on the streets.
Yeah, they can't. There's some. I don't think they can use. They use whoever, and that's really sucks because now you've ruined Kraven's Last Hunt. You've ruined the entire alien costume saga. If you're gonna still do that and somehow get Tom Holland in a black symbiote suit, I don't know what it's gonna mean. They have ruined so many things. I don't understand how the same studio could make Across the Spider-Verse and fucking Madam Web. Are you kidding me? What the shit is this? That's amazing. Make the best.
It's who's the lady? Amy Pascal.
Yeah, it's Avi Arad and Amy Pascal are
It's
still.
clear to me the people that run the Sony Spider-Man universe are just incompetent people. Or as my boy Donald Trump from Joe Rogan would say, I listened to him this way. I'll talk about it later. Very low IQ people.
I love hearing it from his mouth. Low IQ.
Very low IQ people.
That's the nice way to say it now.
He was saying it like that. Very low IQ.
They have low voices also.
Very low IQ.
I couldn't. First of all, I can't wait to hear that because I was like, "Holy shit!" That he didn't go on there. That's crazy.
I wasn't. Yep. We'll talk about it later.
So I'm just glad we're getting more Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man. The 3 movies, essentially a really long origin story, getting him finally to where I kind of wanted to see a Spider-Man. So, okay, this is going to be very interesting moving forward. In the meantime, what is also getting made? We have set photos. I didn't think this was going to happen. Amazon's Spider-Man Noir starring Nick Cage is happening. They're shooting, and the costume looks very comic accurate. I don't know if I doubt that's Nick Cage inside there. But these pictures, have you seen these set shots? I was like, that looks kind of fucking dope, but it is a TV show. And where does all this fit in with everything? I don't know, but I'll give it a geek bone.
Geek boner.
What do
You
guys
like
think?
the way this looks?
I mean, so far, he looks like the suit's cool. He looks like he does in the comics. There's a lot of
All
green
right.
screen It's in
Okay.
the daytime, but it's a period piece. You see like 1940s, 30s cars and shit.
Yeah, I mean this only works. I mean, it does look like the comics, the comics or the cross universe, Spider Universe stuff. The only way this works is if they make it a Fallout comedy. Like there's just no.
Oh,
it can't be taken that seriously.
I mean, you got Nick Cage. doing
It's
his-
gonna be off the rails no matter what.
Right.
It's not
Yeah, you
gonna-
got to go full off the rails.
And yes, it's 1930s, and I believe this is his name. Is his name Peter Parker? This Spider-Man Noir. He is a Peter Parker.
You got to go like where you watch it after. Like you got to feel the way you first watched Doom Patrol and go, oh, this is different.
Now,
That's what you got.
if it was like all black and white too, I don't know if it's going to be in color or if it's kind of like they should be like
if you're going to do this,
Yeah.
you got to go all out.
kind of like the Sin City
Yeah,
movies.
I was about to say that.
That would be fucking dope.
It's got to be raining all the time.
All the time, yes.
Yeah.
And he's in the shadows, and he just has a ridiculous raspy voice. I'm Spider-Man. But they're making it. It's fucking happening. It's kind of crazy. All right, listeners,
They need to do what they should do. What Ruggs requested years ago, once he read Dan Slott books, and just make every variation of a live action Spider-Man have his own thing. Right? Isn't that what Ruggs wanted?
Yeah, it's exactly what I want.
Listen, if Sony's gonna milk this, that's what's gonna happen. They're
That's-
like, we're gonna.
This is milking.
Yeah, they're milking it all.
They have 900 characters they can use. You can give each one of them a show. Sony, don't fucking Jesus Christ. Don't give them any
The problem with
ideas.
Sony, here's real quick one thing.
Yeah.
The problem with Sony is they think the 900 characters they have are all of equal
Yes.
popularity and drawing ability.
Correct.
They have no conception of the fact that one character could be way more popular than another, and they just think, oh, if it's associated with Spider-Man, it should do well.
And yes, but it's all based off of the relationship with Spider-Man, which is non-existent.
Right.
So you already got your work cut out for you there. Listener, you can join this conversation. Let us know what you think about Spider-Man 4 and Blade Delay. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. Jock and Nerd. It's a closed, exclusive group. There's a link in the episode description and on our website. Join it. Join us. Lots of fun. All right. We got a couple of comic book TV shows. We're going to continue with our episodic review as these 2 shows kind of end. Let's start with Agatha, All Along.
What?
Gaga. I'm sorry.
He pronounced the hard. A gay.
Yeah.
Agatha.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Agatha.
Yeah, you went.
Did you really mean
It's like I say Gaga. I said Agatha.
What does that
I didn't
mean,
mean
Ron?
to-
I noticed that you did that.
I didn't mean to
Yeah,
imply
well,
anything.
did you mean
No.
to just
Emphasize
call out
the gay?
I was
Yeah.
just purposely mispronouncing it just to annoy people. Like I say gazebo instead of gazebo.
I think that was Freudian in every single
it
way.
might
I think there was something the inner demon in him wanted to do that.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
the
cele-
inner dude bro in him.
I'm celebrating it.
Everybody
Yeah.
hates him.
Yeah,
The dude bro.
Imran's inner dude, bro.
Yeah, the thing that is so toxic in our society.
Agatha, my inner dude bro is very toxic.
Yeah.
Don't unleash him. I don't have an inner dude bro.
Oh, I'm all dude bro.
He's all dude bro. Anyways,
Yeah.
Agatha, episode 7.
I'm not ashamed.
I love that Imran is the one we called out on that.
I just like to pronounce things differently.
Yeah, well, you chose an interesting part of that word to say, to emphasize.
Imran Hinchcliffe is now in the
Listen,
building.
the listener can psychoanalyze that.
Imran Chappelle.
And anyway, spoiler alerts for Agatha All Along, episode 7.
Spoiler alert.
Let's do a quick one. Anthony,
Matt
What-
Imran
yeah.
Walsh.
Jesus, dude, I don't even know. I'm not in that company.
What is a witch, Imran?
Well, yes, what really? I could be a witch.
I love the fact that Imran always mispronounces words, and we finally got him on something. Where I was like, wait a minute, why did you do
I may
that?
have put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. Was what happened.
All right, what did you think? Agatha.
Yes, Anthony. Agatha, episode 7.
Yes. What did I think
You just
about it? Or
caught
what
up.
is it about?
Give me a quick synopsis. What happens?
We're back with the witches, Wiccan or Billy and Agatha, pronounced Agatha.
That's one way
They're
to
still
pronounce
on the road. They're on their next trial. Their next trial is this wicked type shit in a castle. And they need Lilia because it's really Lilia's episode. And we learn that throughout the show, Lilia's been getting some weird shit, and that's because she sees time differently. And we need her to piece together the moments in her life that she's seen out of order for this moment, because this is her moment to stand tall and help them get over this trial. It's a Lilia episode.
It's
basically.
her trial. Yes, Lilia and Jed not dead.
Right.
And so there was a couple of things I love. What did you think of this overall? As we're almost to the end of this show.
Yeah, 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
Again, I think overall it's a good episode. Actually, I would say it's actually pretty well written.
It's very well written. Yes.
I think the show overall is surprisingly pretty like well put together and good. And they've really thought through stuff because things that didn't make sense earlier make sense now. And they dropped little hints of this earlier where you're like, why is she spouting off random tarot cards, right?
Yeah.
And now you see the way she views time and how her role in all this was. So I think it actually is a pretty, they've written this to be a pretty good episodic TV show.
Yeah.
That said, I'm just not like, it's just not for me. I watched the show and I could appreciate the thought that they've put into some of this stuff and the way it's written. And I'm curious to kind of see where it ends.
Yeah.
There was a bigger reveal at this and at the end of this one. So I am curious to see how it plays out. But this was another episode where I also had my phone out and was kind of had it in the background and was listening. And then if I saw something that kind of caught my interest, I'd rewind it. But yeah, it's just not my show. But I can appreciate that I think it's what I appreciate about it is it's similar to Loki and maybe like your WandaVision, where they've clearly settled on the vibe and the way the niche they want to hit for this and the tone and they're not trying to appeal to everybody. It's not boilerplate Marvel where they want, hey, everyone can watch this and like it. Some shows are not going to be for everyone.
Sure.
This one's not for me, but I appreciate that they're leaning into the niche that they are.
I thought the writing this episode was very good. Just it's confident. It knows what kind of show it is, and them explaining all the crazy shit Lilia has been saying this whole time was so well thought out. I thought Patti LuPone was great going through this time slipping. She's like the flow of time is an illusion, and seeing what was actually happening to her was kind of great to try to keep up. Ruggs. Where would you take this episode?
As a dude, bro, I have to
What does your
chime
inner
in
dude
here.
bro
You know,
say? Yes.
I mean, as I crush this beer into after I drink it into
forehead.
my forehead, yes,
Yeah.
and scratch my balls, I need to and man spread in my chair, my legs apart, as
Listen,
far
man.
apart as I can get.
Mansplain this episode for everyone.
Yeah, I could say that. Look, I know this show is not made for me, and I am not the target demographic, but it's doing things that make sense.
Yes.
Okay, so number one, write characters that make sense and work in their own story.
Yep.
They did that.
Yep.
Be canonically friendly. Okay, the character Wiccan is the character Wiccan. Agatha, we don't really know much about her, so they kind of have carte blanche. She's not a beloved character that people know. They can, and then they introduced a bunch of their own characters that they can fuck around with and do whatever they want. So they have carte blanche. They can do whatever they want. They have death involved now.
Yes.
Okay.
What did you think about that reveal? We talked about the rumor last week, and that actually is now
I
confirmed.
feel, to be honest
Rio
with you, that's the only thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
Is that death is way more too powerful to be involved with the shenanigans going on here. This is like an Omega level being, and
Yeah,
this just seems like so low rent, and like, you know, it's like it feels like Doctor Strange could fart and wipe the ass, and with that little turd, that little nugget that comes out of his ass, will wipe the floor with them, you know. So like none of these witches have any real power at this moment in time, and maybe they'll get amazing amounts of power at some point in this show, but none of these. Why would Death even be interested in Agatha? Like, I have no idea.
She likes the bad boys, she said.
Yeah, but like, okay, but like, so that doesn't ring true to me, and I feel that drop was kind of a weak ass drop to me. Other than that, though, I think everything else is working. I feel like when I watch a show, I'm going, "Hey, this works." If someone who wants to watch a show like this,
yeah,
it functions and it works. I don't really have animosity toward this show in any way. It's just, you know, it's just like I wouldn't watch a witch show to begin with, probably.
Sure.
I don't like Harry Potter. I know people are going to come after me for saying that. I don't like Harry
Potter is just X-Men with witches.
Yeah, I'm not into that type of shit. I don't watch witch anime. There's a million anime with witches in it.
Sure, it is a whole subgenre. Absolutely.
Yeah, and besides, the only reason that I watch Doctor Strange is because he's tied into the Avengers, and he's like an Omega level character that can do a lot of shit. I'm not really into magic. I'm not into it. So much.
What about magic with a K? You into that?
That's a different story. I'm talking about a blonde, okay, with horns, okay.
Oh shit!
But I can fuck with that a little bit. But like, overall, I think I don't have any major issues with the show. I think it's fine. It's fine.
I did love the Wizard of Oz Easter eggs. You know, you have Agatha as the Wicked Witch of the West, and she's like, they based that off me. You got the teen as Maleficent from Snow White. So they had Snow White, Wizard of Oz references. Lilia by the end is Glenda the Good Witch. Jen comes in as the Snow White Witch also. So they had fun with that. I loved all the tarot shit. I thought was really well done and very symbolic. And they've been showing us some of these themes and cards. When Rio shows up as Death, her face was awesome with the skull. And she's holding a knife in one hand and a flower in the other hand, just like the tarot card. Kind of, you know, the Death card represents death and rebirth through death, and which is what Lilia goes through. She knows it's the end. Her turning the castle upside down to kill some of the Salem 7, I think 2 of them are still out there, was fantastic. And then I guess she falls seemingly to her death, but then we see her at the very end back at the table as a teen with her teacher, meaning is she starting over the way she sees time.
I think it was more that her time is not linear. So she's experiencing that moment as a child, but knows how her end went, and she's happy.
And she finally, it's all connected. So is Alice really dead and Lily is dead? We're down to just Jen and Agatha.
Yeah, I think so.
Left on this trip with Billy. So
Billy.
yeah, So I don't know. The swords,
High cheekbones, Billy.
He's got very good cheekbones.
It was good. I mean,
thought it was pretty good.
they do a good job of. I'm with Ruggs, by the way. I'm also not a witch guy. I've watched one Harry Potter movie, never read the books. But magic in the Marvel universe, a lot of it's been like light shows type stuff. So I do appreciate that they're leaning into the magic here, and it's not just I'll zap you with a red thing and a purple magic or yellow magic.
Yeah.
It's like it's getting weird and different kinds of shit's happening. So
it's actual
they're
witchcraft.
leaning into it.
Yeah. We're seeing actual witchcraft, and two episodes left. Next week it'll be 8 and 9. So we will do a finale recap of the whole series. And we got to get back to Billy. Is he going to find Tommy? Is Wanda going to be a part of that? I love that moment where he's like, "She's not my mom. I have a mom," meaning the Kaplan mom. So he kind of doesn't want to be associated with Wanda because of the bad taste in everybody's mouth, and she's been kind of demonized what she did to them. I thought that was very interesting.
It's kind of like an abomination too. Like she was created out of vanity,
right?
And like these people were created out of vanity or some kind of weird thing. I don't know. It's just a weird thing to be this artificial thing, conjuring that you exist as a person.
And then she made artificial people, conjured people, magic people. I did like how through the tarot, she kind of explained, maybe there's hints in it, like the obstacle was the Agatha card. Jen is the high priestess. I feel like she's going to be important, and maybe she gets her powers back and then does something crazy. I still don't know where it's going to end up or where it's going. They got to be close to the end of this fucking road. And it's good. All right, let's move on. Penguin going strong. Episode 6.
Is this the last one of the season?
No, I think there's 2 more.
Okay.
Is this one called Homecoming? I think that's the name of it.
That was Spider-Man.
That was the Spider-Man movie. I forget what it's called, but here's your spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Episode 6. Anthony, fill us in on this awesome show. What happened in episode 6?
The Penguin.
Penguini.
Okay. This episode, we have Oz distributing bliss underground, and the city is all up in arms, and everyone's getting bliss, and he's making deals, but no one knows where Oz is, especially the Maronis and the Gigantes. And the Gigantes and Maronis got to figure out a way to get to Oz. They got to find someone that they can get to Oz and figure out how to hurt him. And that's part of the episode. The other part is Victor's run into Squid, a kid from the first episode that paid off Vic to steal Oz's rims. And this guy wants a cut. So Vic's got to deal with that. And then Oz is dealing with taking care of his mother and living underground, but also trying to figure out a way to unite all the gangs against the Maronis and Gigantes. So a lot of puzzle chess pieces being moved around the board here.
A lot of moving, a lot of great moves, a lot of great scenes. It's called Gold Summit, this episode, not Homecoming. I had it wrong. My first question, we start, this Bliss, we left them off. They had just found this tunnel. It needed work. This Bliss lab is up and running. How much fucking time passed? I was kind of confused. I was
it looked like a lot happened.
A lot happened. They got this drug all over the street. They got tons.
Yeah, they've grown the
he had 2 buckets.
2 bags to all these Bliss.
It had to be at least 3 weeks. I would say 3 weeks minimum.
But then Squid says something about, I saw you the other day with that woman, and I was like, I don't understand. The time's a little flimsy. But yeah, they got lights, they got a whole operation,
camera, and they got action.
And they got lights, camera, action. I also love that he's hiring Crown Point people. He's giving them some work. He's proud. And Vic is doing important drops on a motorcycle, and he's carrying a gun. You noticed in the beginning. I love that moment. He's like, "Look what we did. Look what we got." I love when he goes, "These Maroni Gigante, whatever the fucks." He's so Tony Soprano sometimes when he's talking. Oz again reinforces. I do love that story about Rex Calabrese. He really just wants to leave a legacy. He wants to be known as the guy that helped out the neighborhood.
Yeah, when you're a nobody, you want people to know your name.
Yeah. In fact, that's what he says. He goes, they're going to tell a story about us one day. Victor Aguilar, Oz Cobb, our names are going to live forever. And I
love
that was great.
I love that.
That's great.
I love that what motivates Oz, but I also enjoy the fact that Oz's desire to get that power, even though he does have a code, he's also weaved a shit ton of webs, aka lies.
Yeah.
And that's what's getting him in trouble with Sophia, because one of the lies that he screwed her over on is now coming back to bite him, because he was also telling a lie to his lady friend, and she's pissed about it, so she gives up.
Yeah. Oh, that's a crazy. That's
Well, I think that's the dichotomy. That's the push and pull. It's he tells the lies, and Sophia is the one exposing them all the time.
Right.
She's always like kind of cracking open his lies and putting his feet to the fire every time.
I was so scared for Eve in that scene, because how many times has we heard her say, I don't need Sophia Falcone at my fucking door? And after Sal and Sophia visit Oz's apartment, Sal smashes it up. Sophia found the picture of Eve, and I was like, shit. And then she's at her door, and I was like, oh, fuck.
She doesn't want her there because she thinks Sophia Falcone is the hangman,
right?
Which is the lie that Oz perpetuated to get himself up.
And then Sophia tells Eve, "Oh, he didn't tell you. He knew the whole time who killed your friends. He knew the whole time that Carmine was the hangman." And then, and I was like kind of mad at Eve, and I was nervous for her. And as Sophia's leaving, she just goes, "Crown Point, by the zoo." And I was like, "Fuck, I don't know who to root for in this show." Because for a second, I was like, Oz is doing good. He's underground. They can't find him. He's lay low. But so fucking Sophia is right on his tail. And I was worried for Eve. And then I was like really conflicted. I was like, you fucking gave up Oz. But he was lying to you. So whatever everyone does in this show makes a lot of sense.
I know, but they also kind of take the air out of a lot of the tires in this, because right before Sophia finds Mama Oz, she tells Oz that she wants him to kill her.
Oh, yes. That was an amazing emotional conversation.
So it's like this lady wants to die anyway. So it's like, I think that it takes a lot of the sting out about what she's about to do.
Yeah, because you can see the writing on the wall where maybe she, in the moment when she's captured, starts becoming even more of a
unhinged,
losing more of her faculties. Yeah. And Oz is then able to kill her, satisfy her demands. It'll still be painful for him, but he'll do what he promised to do for her, and then that eliminates the tether that she has to him. But the other thing there is Vic. I think that she has access to Vic as well.
Yeah, I think Vic is going to be the wild card in this one.
So Vic is still babysitting. Let's talk about Vic, because man, holy shit, the squid problem was also well handled. You know, they show him carrying that gun, and then he tries to talk to Oz about this. Oz is a little distracted because his mom's doing bad. And he kind of just tells him to, like, is this going to be a problem? And then Vic runs into
Vic
Squid.
has enough. Vic basically realizes in that moment that Oz, like this, he shouldn't be throwing this on Oz's plate right now.
Right. He's like, if I'm going to be part of this, I got to take care of my problems. And he does.
I just wish that he wouldn't have shot him and he would have tased him to death. So he would have fried calamari.
Fried squid would have been great. A little dipped. I like grilled. I prefer grilled. It's healthier. It's a little healthier.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste as good.
Doesn't taste
heathen.
as good, but like, okay. I mean, I love fried calamari. But fuck, shoots him, gets him in the neck, and freaks out. And this is Vic's first kill.
I love that moment where he goes back to Oz, and Oz just knows what happened.
Yes,
and consoles him.
Beautiful. You know, I have to say,
whispers in his ear. It gets easier.
He goes, you did the right thing.
That's a very Tony Soprano line too.
Yes.
I think actually in True Romance, he talks about how easy it gets to kill people.
Oh, the True Romance, Gandolfini, when he's talking about the first sniper, he's like, that first beat of the bunch, that was the bitch of the bunch.
Yeah.
You know what True Up after that?
Yeah.
You believe it?
It's very much like he was watching that movie and channeling that.
And that's Gandolfini before he gets Tony Soprano. But yeah, that moment is also great. He hugs him like a son. He doesn't even have to say anything. Oz knows he took care of the problem.
Now, this is the thing that pissed me off. Not pissed me off, but I just raised an eyebrow at this whole thing. So they got this tunnel system.
Yeah.
And, and they want to keep it secret.
Yeah.
But none of these guys are riding e-bikes that are quiet as fuck.
Oh, they're riding
and
like
they
loud ass motorcycles.
and they'll keep like the air clean down there.
Yeah.
They're riding in these tunnels with these fucking, and not only that, but they don't have any. I would have gotten solar panels. I would have gotten fucking
using just the generator. I mean, he had to.
Yeah, I would have gotten the cell batteries that you could charge and fucking. He's got tons of money.
I guess he could have get that. I did like how he threatened the councilman
He's like so
to
low tech.
turn the
and
power back
loud.
on, and they did get the power back on at Crown Point at the end of the episode.
I like the other thing I want to mention.
Yes.
Is when I love how Oz. I love the way that Oz is written in that he always either has a plan or has a way to deal with things very quickly. So the Maroni Gigante family basically sees that he's dealing bliss from underground, and we can't find him, so they're going to basically punish anyone that deals with Oz.
So they kill some dealers, string them up.
Right.
Yeah.
They killed some dealers, and then
this is great. Yes.
Oz is like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's just create more demand for it and give it out for free.
Brilliant.
So now everyone's going to want it.
How does that alleviate the problem of them killing people who are dealing it? Someone has to give it out.
Well, no, the demand is going to be so, like everyone's going to want it.
Yeah.
So badly
and that would fuck their business.
Well, not only that, everyone's going to want it so badly that even the people are just going to want to get their hands on it and sell it because they're going to make hand over fist with the money. It doesn't even matter at that point. And then he uses that as an advantage to then unite all the gangs.
That scene was fucking amazing. That whole sequence where the warring gangs are there, he's passing out beers, and they call him out. They're like, "You are a lying piece of shit." And he is. They all realize that. But that fucking monologue he gives, I would have fucking joined up with Penguin. I was like, I'm in. He's like, they run shit, we eat shit. And then I love he goes, the same thing, Donnie boy. They don't even know your fucking name. It's so good. It's so good. And then he cracks the beer, and he's like, I'm just a poor kid from the east side, just like you guys. He's like, why let them take everything over? And then everybody slowly cracks their beer in acceptance, and Zhao at the very end of the triads does it. I was like, oh my God, fucking Penguin
But
rules.
the thing that doesn't track is that Carmine Falcone was the guy that everybody knew. He was running shit. So I don't know if that tracks, but anyway, go ahead.
He was, but he's gone now.
Right.
And he knows that Sal and Sophia will take over all these people's business and get rid of them and take over the cities. Absolutely.
Well, it's not even that they get rid of them. It's that they take over, but then and they'll make deals with the government where they're the ones taking all the things.
Right.
And
They're not gonna get
all the lower guys are not gonna get shit.
They're gonna get shit.
Right.
Yeah. So for him to join these gangs, I was fucking Colin Farrell, but 2 moments when he's talking to his mom and she's telling him to kill him, and he's got tears and he's emotional. He's like, you can't, you're my mom. It's amazing. And then this,
you're not a fucking dog.
he's like, don't be a pussy. He's like, don't pussy out when the time comes. Yeah, he goes, you're not a fucking, like, put down a dog. And then this monologue where he turns everyone, they know he's a lying sack of shit, but they also know he makes a point, and this is all they got. They got to join. Oh, so fucking good. So fucking good. And then I was surprised. Oh, I love the other detail is Sophia fucking Julian, like, strapped to a chair, and he's got, like, scratch marks on him. That's a wild woman.
You know, I was disappointed. I knew this was going to happen. At the beginning of the episode, they tell you there's going to be nudity. I'm like, it's going to be a fucking guy. And it was him.
Of course. His pants are almost fucking falling off.
You can see his pubes.
And then at the very end, great moment. Power comes back on. Vic and Oz's mom are dancing. And you hear a thud. And I was like, what was that noise? And I love how they played this. Like, just held the shot, slowly pulled back. And at the very end, you see her inside the apartment with a crowbar. I was like, fuck, she found them really quickly. All Eve says was by the zoo, and she fucking finds them. Maybe she just waited to see Vic go in. But if you watch the promo for next week, they get Oz. So he's gonna have to deal with that.
I did not watch the promo.
All right, well,
I don't like.
I didn't watch the promo either.
Appreciate you ruining it for me, Ron.
Whatever, it's out there. You know it's gonna happen.
I didn't actually hear what you said because I was reading something.
Oh,
So you didn't ruin it for me. I didn't watch the promo.
But goddamn, this show is so fucking good. And, it
needs more Batman. But yeah, it's good.
Still no Batman mention.
I'm going to say that every week because it's the
I
one
don't
thing
think it's ever going to happen. And yeah, just fantastic. I think
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think we got three more episodes. So the following week from the Agatha finale, we will have a Penguin finale. It's all lining up perfectly. Okay, let's take a break here. Play some promos. We'll come back and talk about the last dance for our boy Venom, Eddie Brock, right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What's up? This is Brian, and I'm the host of Citizens of Pawnee, a Parks and Recreation podcast. That's right, a podcast dedicated to my favorite TV show, Parks and Rec. Every week I discuss my favorite things about the show, which include character breakdowns, episode rewatches, and other random facts and tidbits about the show. You can find me on Instagram at Citizens of Pawnee Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcasts now. You will literally love it.
Attention podcast listeners and YouTube watchers. I'm Logan, the host of Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. Every week, join me, PC Mike, The Giggler, Scotty Scoop, and Carrie as we talk MCU, DCU, books, TV, movies, and more. MostlySuperheroes.com is where you want to be. Watch us on YouTube, listen where you get your podcast, and we'll see you Sunday on Patreon. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, this is a great time. Join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. And you can give back, support the show, monthly, annual basis, and you get fun things like access to an exclusive podcast feed where the show comes out early. Instant reactions for movies are posted right away. You would have heard 3 Venom ones this week. Movie reviews, bonus content, lots of fun extra bullshit there for our Patreon members. You can join us for our monthly hangout on Discord. Not Datcord, but Discord. That's a bad joke. The next one is Thursday, November 14th, 2024, and other fun things to be had on our Patreon page. Sign up, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. All right, let's get to this week's movie review. We are here, the end of the Venom trilogy, Venom: The Last Dance. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
The third Venom movie since 2018, the 5th Spider-Man-less Spider-Man universe movie from Sony. And there will be more. Of course, first appearance of Venom as a symbiote, 1984. Amazing Spider-Man 252. I have that issue. Great storyline. And then another great issue, the first full Venom appearance, Amazing Spider-Man 300. Todd McFarlane cover. Classic. On Rotten Tomatoes, let's look at the journey of these movies. It's been very interesting. The first Venom, 2018, 30% critics, 80% audience. All right. Venom 2, what's that one called? Venom 2. Let There Be Carnage. 2021, 57% critics, 84% audience. Both numbers go up. Very interesting. Venom 3, The Last Dance, 38% critics rating right now, 142 reviews, 80% on the popcorn meter for the audience. Okay. This movie's budget was $120 million. Here, I'm going to give you the history again because this is very interesting. First, when Venom opens to $80 million, finishes its run at $856 million worldwide. The second movie opens $90 million opening weekend. That one only finished at $506 million. That's $1.3 billion right there for the Venom franchise. Now, this thing underperformed. Venom: The Last Dance opening weekend, $51 million, the lowest of the 3. However, internationally, it's made $124 million. In China, $45 million from China alone. So worldwide, the movie is sitting at $175 million already. And this will push the franchise to about $1.5 billion total. So while the U.S. box disappointed, it's killing overseas. Very interesting. They love the Venom. This one directed by Kelly Marcel in her directing debut and written by Kelly Marcel and Tom Hardy. So Kelly Marcel wrote on the last two movies, and Tom Hardy also wrote on the last movie. And that who is our star, Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. But you got Chiwetel Ejiofor in here as General Strickland, Juno Temple from Ted Lasso as a scientist, Rhys Ifans, the lizard, Otto Hightower, kind of slumming it as Martin here in this movie. Stephen Graham.
I don't get why he's in it, but all right. Yeah,
right? What the fuck is Otto Hightower's talent doing in this? It is weird. Stephen Graham returning as Detective Mulligan from the second movie. You got Peggy Lou returning as Mrs. Chen. And then also Cristo Fernandez, bartender, MCU and Sony Universe bartender, also from Ted Lasso. And possibly in the most post-credit scenes I've ever seen motherfucker be in. He's got like 3 in a row. And some other people that are in the movie. Scientists, whatnot.
There was a lot of post-credits in this movie?
There was 2. We will go over that.
Oh.
Also, notably, you have Andy Serkis as the voice and the mocap for Null. And we'll get to exactly what he mocapped. I'm not sure. We'll get to that. But in the meantime, Anthony, tell me what happens. PG-13, 1 hour, 49-minute, Venom the Last Dance.
Venom the Last Dance. We have Venom and Eddie still somewhat living on the run as the government tries to hunt them. The government's been collecting symbiotes, and they're looking for the last one, Venom. While this is happening, in a dark, strange universe, we learn that the symbiotes had this relationship with the Null and his gang of monsters, and they banished him to somewhere. And he's looking to get out because he wants to burn the universe or some shit. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to do that is to find the codex. And that codex is conveniently located on Venom.
Oh, how convenient.
So, yeah. And that's also happening. So Venom's got shit he's dealing with. World-ending stuff.
Yeah. Allegedly. Didn't feel like it. All right. Well. All right. So quickly, give me your thoughts on the first 2 and this franchise and how you felt at the end of this one.
The first 2 movies?
Yeah.
The first Venom was a goofy movie that isn't very good, but also has a charm to it because of the fact that you have this homoerotic relationship. I don't know. Maybe it's not homoerotic, but you have this relationship with a Tom Hardy who's playing Eddie Brock in Venom, and it's so out there and strange and fun that it makes the movie, which isn't very good otherwise, worth remembering. Venom 2, I don't remember it all, to be honest with you. All I remember is, what's his name with a bad wig?
Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
Yeah. And there's some weird stuff in there. It's kind of a waste of Carnage, but you still have the fun Venom vibes. And then you have this one. So now, as I said in my instant reaction, which you can check out now, I don't think I've changed my opinion much on the movie, but I'll recap it here. I think the movie is, in a lot of ways, just trash. You have this villain that is very ambiguous on who he is, what he can do. It's just written out of nowhere that all of a sudden this villain has some ties to the symbiote and Venom, and the main villain that you're getting is actually a monster, so there's no real interaction there. It's pretty dead. Then you have all these new side characters, which are kind of whatever. You have all these Venom symbiotes, which is all of a sudden, I think it was a thing, but it's all of a sudden just dropped in on your lap that there's these different color Venoms, and actually the symbiotes were escaping, and they're kind aliens, and all that's kind of just garbage. I did like the hippie family, even though it doesn't make any sense why they cast Ifran's
the lizard.
To play. I don't know why they cast the same guy. I also don't know why they cast Ejiofor as this guy. It's like the weird things that Sony does, where it's almost borderline incompetent. Like I said earlier, where they think they're being cute, but it doesn't even make any sense why you would do that. It doesn't tie in anything. But I liked the movie. I just enjoyed Eddie Brock and Venom, and I enjoyed their whole dynamic. And towards the end, I did feel, not, I wouldn't say I was crying or anything, but I definitely felt, oh man, like if this is the end of them, it's kind of sad. So yeah, I mean, I think the movie rests on them, and if you enjoy them, then the movie's kind of tolerable. If you don't enjoy any of them, then the movie's pretty much trash, and I totally understand why you wouldn't like it.
Yeah, that was when I listened to your instant reaction. I was like, "What?" You were like, "I actually had fun," and I can see that.
I trashed it I trashed it for a good minute before I then ended with, well, I actually kind of liked it.
And that's kind of like the vibe all these movies have been going for, is that they're trash, but you should have fun. Rugs.
I mean, one thing, and then I'll let Rugs. I legitimately laughed so hard when they meet the hippie couple that are looking for aliens. They serve him a plate of food, and you hear Venom just like he's like, "Oh, vegan," and they toss it over his head right away. He just reacts and goes, "Oh my."
He actually, I'll tell you, the one time I laughed out was his line, and it was after he just pops up with the rocket launcher and blows the thing away, and he's like, sorry. Like, that was like the funniest part for me. Rugs, what do you think of these Venom movies, and was this one fun? What happened?
No, sir, don't like it. What can I say?
Fuck that show.
When they make a movie and they don't intend to make it good from the get-go, and they're just like, we're just going to use this character to grab some money, it already pisses me off. The first movie was tolerable. Like, they tried to kind of at least make it fun and a fun experience, and it was. The second movie is completely forgettable because I don't remember anything about it at all, like Anthony said. This one, I feel like I'm going to remember more for whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it was because it was just such a different, simple, mindlessly dumb movie. It reminds me a lot of like that fourth Superman movie, The Quest for Peace.
Oh God, not The Quest for Peace.
Where they just made a terrible movie.
Yeah, on purpose.
And it's just bad. I face palmed so many times, but I did laugh a few times, and I did at a few times kind of perk up in my seat and enjoy what was going on. And as far as action and comedy is concerned, like there's a few memorable things with the horse and things like that. There's funny interactions, but overall, I think that it was a ham-fisted, stupid movie. I don't understand the lightning thing. I don't understand.
That is pointless. There's so many pointless things in this movie.
What was the lightning thing?
The doctor's memory, her backstory was she was running on the beach with her
powers
brother.
when she gets a symbiote, I guess.
And so
that doctor sucks.
She got hit by lightning. It went through her and killed him. And then she becomes a symbiote with like she's like Sonic the Hedgehog by the end or something.
I remember.
I was like, what was the point of this lightning story to begin with?
They just, nothing really pays off properly. They rush through everything. And why is there a Venom that can't get out? Like,
okay. Yeah,
we're going to die and he's stuck in there. And I don't know.
We're going to talk about all this. None of this makes sense. I will say, I will say the first movie I found moderately entertaining. Tom Hardy sitting in the aquarium with the lobsters always sticks out in my head. Hilarious. Their relationship is what's holding these movies together. The second movie, just like you guys, I have no fucking memory. There was a church, there was a prison. I don't know. I don't know what happened. And it gets a little muddy because they pick up with the same Detective Mulligan. And I was like, I forgot this guy was in the last fucking movie. This one, I knew what I was walking into, and it was exactly what I thought. Goofy, silly, a lot of things don't make sense, full of plot holes. And then at the end, I just found it moderately fun, and it didn't feel as an epic ending as it should have. And if they're going to make a purposely goofy, fun popcorn flick, I wish they kind of leaned into that more.
Yeah, I wish Null would have actually been in the third act.
Okay, we're just going to talk about Null real quick, get him out of the way. We start with an exposition dump opener on Clintar.
That exposition dump reminded me of
there's a lot of movies that
the way Thor: Dark World starts, and some of those bad Marvel movies or bad villains in Marvel movies were just like, okay, we're using this guy, we got to get him out of the way right away and to let you know, like there was never a plan to use this guy, but we got to find a way to weave it in right
Shoved
away.
him in. By the way, here's the top of his head, which is the only thing you're going to see for the 3 minutes that he's on the screen. He just loved looking down at his feet for some reason. Anyways, he explains that whole thing. I created the symbiotes. They went against me. They put me in this prison on Clintar so that he created these xenophages. And he's like, I need this codex that they just never mentioned before. And apparently the codex is formed when a symbiote resurrects their host. And it can only be seen when Venom is in his full form. The xenophages, there's portals, they get to the Earth. I did kind of think it was neat how they could only see him when he's Venom. So he handicaps him. And it's real, because then they make stupid decisions. They find him right away. But it does beg the question, if Null can create these portals to send these fucking things through,
why can't he get out?
Why can't he just portal himself out of there? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
I'm trying to think, but that's a great curly Three Stooges line. I'm trying to think, but nothing happens. But he needs this codex to escape whatever. And then another crazy thing happens. We start in the MCU. Now, we got to take this whole back and forth, these post-credit scenes. The end of the second Venom movie, Sony zaps Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy into the MCU. And Venom sees a picture of Spider-Man and goes, that guy, and licks the screen. Cut ahead to the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. So Sony's like, we're putting Venom in the MCU. Kevin Feige literally is like, nope, and boots him the fuck out at the bar with the guy from Ted Lasso, leaving a little bit of the symbiote. And we saw that. We didn't see him disappear. We saw a similar conversation. And this movie starts right there and kind of retcons the scene. And what happens is what the same portals that Null was creating to send these xenophages shows up behind Eddie Brock, pulls him back into his universe's version of that bar where the bartender has long hair. It's the same bar. This makes no sense. Null can create multi-universal portals. I don't understand what happened here.
Yeah, I didn't get what happened. I didn't understand at all what happened.
I was like, what? Okay, so he's in that version and does leave a piece of the symbiote there to hold down the coin for a tip, which also doesn't make sense. I did enjoy Venom going, I'm so done with this multiverse shit. That was kind of a funny line. But all that was like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And the whole time, they kind of teased, is Spider-Man going to show up? Is there going to be any connection to the MCU or any kind of Spider-Man?
Really? You felt like they were teasing it? I felt like they right off the bat, they dropped it and said this. No,
yes,
there's no tease.
After this, like walking in, you were like, are they going to do this? And then when you see that, they're like, nope. This
What
is
was
not
the post-credit scene with the cockroach or something?
So you want to jump to the post-credit scene. There's two post-credit scenes.
One is they reveal Null.
Finally, you see his face and whatever Andy Serkis mocap, because he didn't see his face. And he's like, the King in Black is coming now that he's gone. I'm going to be out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Setting up a fucking really threat that's probably never going to pay off. The second one at the very end, that bartender guy who they took, the Imperium Project, he comes out of the cave. Everything's destroyed. And he's like, hello. And he runs off. And then it shows you a cockroach approach a broken vial that held one of the symbiotes. Now, it looked kind of purple. I thought it was the vial that the doctor had who became the purple one. It could have been the vial that he got from the bar that still has a little piece of Venom, even though Venom was killed and melted or destroyed. But also a weak post-credit setup.
Both post-credits were pretty weak in my opinion.
Really pointless. We saw him bond with a fish and a frog and animals, and then the end credits had like all these Venom animals. I thought that was fun.
I actually laughed when he bonded with the frog.
The frog was funny, yes. So I don't know if they're saying he's going to bond with this cockroach. And there's a line early on where she's like, oh, cockroaches have been here for millions of years and they'll be around no matter what. But pointless post-credit scenes.
Yeah. I can't argue with anything you guys are saying. And I totally get it. There was no plan for any of this. It doesn't seem like, right? So everything feels, it's as if it's been tacked in, the whole doctor brother relationship. We never met this doctor.
Yeah.
The whole Null thing, the whole codex, the different color Venoms, like all that stuff feels very like they just had to come up with something for the movie. And it doesn't all really mingle all well together at all. But I like the scene where he's when he takes on the centrifuges or whatever the fuck those things are and starts aciding himself and telling Eddie goodbye and all that. I was like, this is good.
I will say, look, the first half of the movie is
they did a good job in my opinion of like building where Eddie and Venom, like that thing, that whatever that chemistry is a thing.
Yes, their chemistry, and it's him with himself. Like, this is what people love. It's just like, you really could have just had the whole movie of them like ordering pizza, going grocery shopping. Would have been fun. But the first half of this movie,
we are Venom. We are Venom,
and a lot of it's in the trailer, except for the whole. It was still funny. The timing is off all these years. So the first half of the movie, I was kind of falling asleep. It's like this road trip movie. There are some fun scenes. The airplane scene is kind of fun. He finds this random fucking family. He makes it to Vegas. There's a whole fucking choreographed dance number with Mrs. Chen. And I did laugh when Tom Hardy's like, when did you have time to rehearse this? Because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, you risked Eddie Brock falling from a plane to get away from this thing, but you're going to risk getting caught just to dance with Miss Chen. Okay.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Fine.
Yeah, he risked it all to dance with her.
He's like, I need to dance. He gets
It's a stupid movie.
Gambling addiction. Also, that scene where the guy's just pissing and he needs his tuxedo and he gets peed on is very strange. Because the Venom I know, he can just change whatever clothes you have on to whatever you want. That's the whole point of this fucking thing.
Barely an inconvenience.
Why did you need to knock out the guy? Why
it's fun to get peed on.
Peeing on him. I don't know. I don't understand.
It's fun to get peed on.
Also very convenient. The government decommissioning Area 51 and all the symbiotes just happen to be there. So then the second half is kind of where I perked up. Because like the third act is this long battle scene. It all happens in one place at Area 51. And I actually kind of enjoyed all the fucking CGI crazy shit that was happening. That helicopter move is pretty dope, where he rides up and they take the chopper blades.
I just found it to be very repetitive.
It's repetitive, and at times. So my other problem with this whole movie is at times it's hard to understand what Tom Hardy is saying and Eddie Brock is saying, and some of the CGI, it was such choppy editing that it was hard to tell what the fuck was actually happening. There's a lot of choppy.
I also think it's tough to be really emotionally invested in the villain or the conflict here, because the main villain Null just sits there with his head down.
Yeah,
there's no interaction there. The trifuges or whatever the fuck it's called.
Roaches, big roach aliens.
Roaches, they're monsters. You can't really interact with them.
Yeah.
So the only villain that you can interact with is kind of Chitwell Etchefer's villain character. But he's not the main villain. He's not even really a villain. It's just kind of a misunderstood general.
He helps them out at the end.
So there's no... And then the villain, the alien Blugs, they're basically indestructible.
Yeah, I thought I kind of like that.
They're indestructible until whatever that goop gets on them. Then that...
Well, that's acid. But yeah, you see them several times reassemble themselves. And I'm like, this shit is unstoppable.
So, but there's no, even though it's supposed to be world-ending stakes, there's no back and forth with any of that.
Yeah.
So they can't. That inherently like limits the movie in terms of your personal investment in the hero's journey in this one.
I feel like there's not really an interest in making a great movie. I think they're just their interest was we want to have some fun popcorny stuff that you can like laugh at and be entertaining, and that's all they tried to do. And if you're trying to just do that to make an entertaining film, I think they achieved that for the most part, but I just really think that third act is weak, and having this teased bad guy throughout this whole film, and then you don't even get anything. I felt I was shortchanged, especially if this is the last Venom and they call it the last dance. I mean, I could see that there's Eddie Brock. He's in New York now, and they want to use the Venom symbiote that's on the cockroach will eventually get to New York and reform Venom.
But like, it was even that ending was like, what was the point of getting him to New York just because Venom was like, I always want to see Statue of Liberty?
Now, there's also a piece of Venom that's in the Marvel universe.
There still is.
So that could be the Venom that Tom Holland fights.
For a second, though, I thought at the end they may show. Wouldn't it be great if they just showed like an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man swing by the Empire State Building in the distance or something, or the Statue of Liberty? But he just also there's a great that ends with that clip montage like it's the fucking end of a TV show or something. It's hilarious. And you know what's funny? We just finished the Perfect Strangers whole season. The last episode literally has an exact same clip montage.
And Venom was in that too.
Venom was also in that Perfect Strangers ending. I was like, am I watching a fucking TV movie? What the fuck? I was like, remember all this great stuff? It's hilarious. So what'd you guys think of the needle drops? We hear Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, and he's with the horse. They sing David Bowie's Space Oddity in the truck. And then there was like another weird, they're dancing to the ABBA song.
There's Cat Stevens.
Oh, in the Wild World. Yes, they used the Wild World in the movie.
They also end the movie with
what was that song?
Was it by what's his name? Post Malone?
Oh, it was the Post Malone song.
I had some help. Right, that one, right?
Yeah.
No, I like the music.
I mean, those are really good songs. I will say
it was fine. It wasn't anything.
It's a good. The Queen songs.
I wrote down fun music.
Yeah. Okay.
The next thing I wrote down was this movie is just a bunch of bullshit. LOL.
It really is. It's just how can we write them out? How can we finish them? Look, I get they were trying to be emotional at the end, right? You have that moment. Eddie and Venom are bonding, and they're like, I'm gonna have to leave you. And Venom sacrifices himself, saves Eddie, gets melted, blows up. I should have felt it more. I just kind of barely felt it.
I felt it.
I didn't. It didn't hit me. I think they wanted it to completely. I was just like,
did it graze your feels at all?
It grazed them a little bit. But this fucking random family is so stupid. Why did they sneak in and go up that tower? What the fuck is happening? Fucking Martin and this family, this random
unfortunate writing in Ron.
He almost stole every scene he was in because
he was funny.
He was kind of funny.
I just knew because I know who that guy is.
Right,
him doing a hippie American.
Yeah, it's weird.
But weird casting because immediately when you see him, you go, "Is this Dr. Kurt Connors?"
Yeah, because
that's not.
They're literally like, "Hey, remember Mordor and the Lizard? We got them playing completely different people.
Right?
Come see this movie."
It's such a bait and switch.
It's just like, okay, we're starting out and we're going to go to Area 51, but before that, we're going to go to Vegas, and then he's going to be on a plane. And then I'm like, okay, what are you doing?
Then he's going to be in a van. Then they're going to get, like, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, the movie is really written in a way where they had a series of moments that they wanted or a series of ideas. And then they were like, okay, how do we string this all together? We want the symbiote to jump onto animals. We want different color symbiotes.
Yes.
We want him in these different locales. And there's got to be some sort of world-ending threat. Okay.
So can I ask a question that's really stupid?
Yeah.
Were they actually closing Area 51 or were like the entire base or just the top of Area 51?
And not the bottom? That's unclear.
I wasn't really sure what was happening.
Because Strickland gets control of that whole program, like during that, halfway through.
And the girl was like, the scientist lady was like, yeah, but nobody knows we're down here and we've been doing all this research.
Okay, so there's so many things that don't make sense. First of all, when Strickland gets control of the Imperium Project, he's like, assemble the 6. And you're like, what? 6? Sinister 6? No, it's 6 random dudes that are hanging off a helicopter. I don't know why he said assemble the 6. Then when they separate Eddie and Venom and they capture him and they bring him there, somehow Venom gets out and bonds with the one scientist for a second and then jumps back on Eddie. And I was like, wait, when did this happen? And then he releases all the others and the fucking xenophage shows up right away. Now, I did enjoy all the other colors. It was very colorful.
I did like the colors.
Apparently, these are characters known as Lasher and Agony and Phage, and it's a big CG battle. I got to tell you, I don't know anything about these other symbiotes. When I stopped reading, like in the late 90s, there was only Venom and Carnage. I was out way before. It just seemed like too many symbiotes. There were too many clones of Spider-Man. I think I got
like anti-Venom and like Flash Thompson Venom, and then I was out.
No, I was done. I was done after they cloned Spider-Man 700 times. I was like, okay, this is enough. And that was even before. So I know some people were like, oh, cool, but they're not named. They all die. Also, they all get killed. Venom has to bond with the xenophages, get acid dumped on him, and get exploded. So then, yes, the other parts at the end is Eddie wakes up, and it was kind of sad when he wakes up in the hospital. He's like, buddy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, he's not there. He's not there.
See?
Yeah.
Movie worked.
A little
It's good.
bit. And the general is like, all right, you know what? You help. Thank you. We're going to pardon everything. Don't tell anybody what happens. Then he goes to the Statue of Liberty and you see the
You
clip
see
show.
it without him. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton.
no.
There's not a ton to analyze about the movie.
No.
It is pretty shitty. There's not a ton of thought that they put into the movie, really. It's just a series of moments, and it's just an excuse. That's the thing that I wrote down too. Is the movie for me is good whenever Tom Holland Venom is on screen, but anything else on screen is just like, oh, let's get back to Venom.
That's and when he's not on screen, there's literally just characters giving you exposition, like you're a fucking idiot. Here's my biggest thing that's kept me up at night. Remember those scenes in the movie, that room with the monitors, that guy in silhouette calling the shots, General Strickland.
Who the fuck was that?
They never fucking tell you who that is. I was like,
wait, what are you
fuck
talking
you,
about?
movie.
Is that Thunderbolt Ross?
That there was
What are you talking about?
several times they cut to this dark room with monitors. There's a guy who's backlit.
yeah,
You just
you're
see
right.
the back of his head, and he is calling the shots. And this is what I did at the end. First of all, my theater was packed. People love Venom. There's a lot of the end of the movie. I turned to the whole row, and I was like, "Wait, did they ever explain who that fucking person was?" And everyone's like, "Nope, nope, nope." And I was like, "What the fuck? What was that? What was that?"
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that character. I literally forgot that character happened
Right?
in the movie.
It was ending. I was like, wait a minute. They better tell me in the post. I was like, they better tell me who that is. I'll tell you what, though. Here's the thing. People really love this fucking Venom. Like I said, the theater's packed. I was sitting next to like
Not enough to make a lot of money though.
That's the thing. I don't know. I was sitting next to a group of 3 girls, young women, came together as a girl group, and they fucking loved this movie. They love Venom. And I just started talking to them. I was like, what do you like about this? And it was just like the humor and the chemistry and Tom Hardy and the design of Venom. But people fucking love Venom, and you don't even have to make it good. You do. I wish
you don't
I had,
have to even make it good.
I wish I had more fun with it, but I could see how a lot of people would have fun
Venom
with it.
is like pizza.
It really is. This is like
Anything
it's like,
will do.
This is like mid-tier junk food, right? It's not like the shittiest junk food. It's not like the nicest junk food. It's just pretty good junk food, and you forget about it.
It's like
and you move on.
Domino's pizza. It's not
It's
quite
like- yeah.
pizza, but it'll do the job.
It's like Little Caesars. It's a little pizza.
I can't argue any of this.
Yeah, that's exactly where these land. So that's about all the interest you need to. They drive through a sand waterfall. What the fuck is that? How does that happen? How's there a sand waterfall? Doesn't matter. Like, why is the sand falling? Where's it going? Why
I don't
doesn't
even
it
remember
stop?
that part.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
in
what
the
you're talking
beginning,
about
to
either.
get into that secret base, they drive through a sand waterfall. I was like, what?
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I completely missed that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still
I
make,
don't remember.
still makes
I
sense.
didn't catch that at all.
Still makes sense.
Yeah.
I was too busy face palming from something before. Like I was
Yeah,
covering my
it's a lot of
eyes and
eye rolling.
shaking my head. Should we rate it or whatever we do?
Let's wrap it up. Fuck it. It's rated. Tell me where you like it stacked up to the other two. Anthony,
Yes.
go first. Where are we landed? Final thought.
Where does it rank amongst the other two? Only because I don't remember the second one, I'll put it second.
Yeah.
These movies are what they are, right? We've said what they're junk food, they're mindless at times, but they did. I'll give them credit in that Tom Hardy as Venom, although not really comic book accurate because he never really interacts with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So the character's already flawed from the start. There was something there with that caught on with people, and it caught on with me. I wouldn't mind seeing Tom Hardy as Venom again sometime in the future. Overall, I would say this movie was I would go 6 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
But I fully realize it's a bad movie. So if I was giving it a very non-emotional score, I'd probably say it's like a 4 or a 3. But I liked Tom Hardy as Venom.
Okay. Rugs?
I feel like, out of all the 3 movies that we have Venom in, this is the second best one. I think the first one had Michelle Williams in it, and that classed it up a little bit.
Yeah. The second one did too, I think.
It's an origin film. The second one might have had it, but I don't remember that fucking movie at all. So it was not memorable at all.
Yep.
I did not care for. I don't know. Maybe I would like it more if I watched it again, but I can't imagine it being any better than this one. This one was like at least different because it's like Venom versus Venom on that other movie, and then the first one was Venom versus Venom in the other movie.
At least there's some monsters.
This is like a little bit different because it's got a monster, and then they're dangling the carrot of the other bad guy, Null. So it had that going for it. I don't know. I just feel like it's not really made for any reason other than to get people to show up in the theater and dish out money to see Venom do stupid shit.
Yeah.
And it's fine. If I'm going to give it a rating, I'm probably going to give it like a 5.5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really the same as all you guys. I think this is it's really close to like the first one. So I would go 1, 3. And again, 2 is completely forgettable. But I was leaning a 6. It's possibly the most memorable, maybe fun out of the 3. And it's wild that we had 3 movies of Venom, no Spider-Man. They fucking pulled it off, and it's all fucking illogical, convoluted shit, but whatever. They did it, and people love the Venom for some reason. It's not the Venom I wanted, but it's the Venom we got. Because I was like, it's all right. I'll give it a 6. I don't know. I think if you like the first 2 movies, you will like this, but I think you probably wait till it's on streaming. Speaking of the future, though, let's talk about this. Tom Hardy said he's done with this character. Kelly Marcella has gone on record saying multiple times, this is the beginning of Null. They want to show us more of Null, who did fuck all in this movie, really. Is he going to be in Spider-Man 4? Do you want to see a Venom or a black symbiote suit? I don't know.
I don't know how you can even have an opinion on if you want to see Null in another movie.
You can do this if you take Flash Thompson and he unites with the other. Eddie Brock's out. You got Flash Thompson, who's a directly related to Spider-Man character where you're not going to see Spider-Man.
Yeah,
becomes a good Venom.
Right. Oh, yes, an anti-Venom or the Venom.
He's good Venom, isn't he? Good Venom, hero Venom.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that called? I don't know. Look it up. Flash Thompson Venom.
Flash Thompson Venom. Just call Flash Thompson. Who's he joins the Avengers or somebody.
Yeah, he's good. He's not evil at all. There's no teeth. There's none of that shit.
Yeah, he's just got a cool suit.
Yeah.
I guess you could do that, but for her to be oh, there's going to be more Null, I was like, really? I don't think so. I don't know. They didn't really set that up at all. It's all seemed very forced and contrived.
So you could have Spider-Man in the movie but only as Spider-Man, not ever as the actor. He just kind of in there, but not really doing much.
So
did you even answer him, Ron, about Null? Do you want to see him in other movies?
I do not. I know they're going to try to force it, but
I just don't think you can even have everyone can have an opinion. I just don't think you got enough to even know who the character is to want him in anything.
I don't even know. Nothing about it is interesting. He made Venoms, and then the Venom turned against them.
But he also made that black sword, the Necro sword that Gore used in the comics. And, he's a relatively new creation. Just first appearance 2018 or 2013? 2018 full appearance. But this King in Black storyline is pretty big. And he says the words, the King in Black, at the end of this movie. And we saw in that third Thor movie.
And you're giving way more depth to this character than we got.
So I don't know how they can, because Thor didn't use that sword to kill Gore in the movie. They changed that.
I just feel like this is a half-baked character at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's apparently one of the most powerful villains in the comics, super villains. So there's potential.
Yeah, you could just write that. Doesn't mean it's earned or even, I don't know, makes sense.
That reveal of his face and the CG, I didn't think that looked very good.
It didn't look good.
No.
I thought they cast, what's his face to play Null?
Andy Serkis.
No. I thought I saw online that it was the dude from fucking Walking Dead. the dude with the long that looked like he's from Portland.
Daryl.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't that the thing on the internet? Maybe I just saw that somewhere.
No. Norman Reedus played.
I was totally expecting to see Norman Reedus' face, and then there's this a big CGI face, and I was like, "Oh,
it's Andy Serkis voiced it, and he mocapped it. I mean, he did direct the last movie. Also, it is weird. He didn't. I don't know how much he got paid to just do that little thing.
Andy Serkis did Venom too.
Yeah, he directed the second one. But yeah, so there's a lot of Null fans. If you were reading these Venom, I don't.
It escapes me.
I'm worried. I'm a little worried about Spider-Man 4 if Sony has more influence and they're going to try to shove all this shit in. Anyways, on the movie side, we have one more coming, Kraven, without Spider-Man. This one R-rated. I wish some of these Venom movies were R-rated because he's biting heads off and stabbing people and there's no blood at all. Just looks weird. But Kraven will be bloody.
Yay!
So there will be blood.
There will be blood. All right, let's do some news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Regarding Venom: The Last Dance, Jose Ibarra comments, I like the part where Julia Stiles did that pretty mid-hip-hop dance to get into Juilliard. Oh, wait. Wrong movie. He was thinking of Save the Last Dance. Not Venom: The Last Dance. I thought that was funny.
I'll do mother right now. Shout out to Jose Ibarra for hooking me up with some Nike passes to go to the Nike store and buy some stuff. And I also got to meet him in person at the Oregon.
You guys met? Oh, no way. Geek boner. Yeah. That's fantastic. I am so glad that you actually got a moment to meet him.
I had a beer with Jose Ibarra.
Oh, how was that?
He was good. It was good. He was a normal guy. Now, I'd like to, maybe he can respond here. I didn't know the lady he was with, if it was his girlfriend or someone else, because she was definitely a looker. And I was like, wow, good job, Jose, if that's your girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's awesome. We met Matt Delhauer in New York. You got to meet Jose on the other side of the country. Fun stuff. We're gonna have a meetup one of these days.
You met some dude. You met one of the Chicago guys once.
Oh, Jess Rivera. Yeah, Jess Rivera is cool too. We should have a meetup one day. Everyone's gonna fly into a city. We'll figure it out.
We met John Bellotti Jr.
Yes, we met Bellotti in person. These are real people.
Real people. Yeah.
You met Dope Pope a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah, Dope.
We've met Nick Chev. We've met.
Didn't you meet Seth Morgan?
No.
Oh.
No.
We didn't actually ever meet.
Oh.
No. He well,
it would have been
Imran was blindfolded when they met.
I'm not sure that it was
just some wax on his nipples.
It was a little similar to Dr. Julian.
Wasn't another one that went over your place?
Oh, Andrew Gildy.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And Scott. But they're listeners. But I'm talking about our real celebrity listeners that we talk about all the time. I love meeting them in person.
Yeah, I met him.
Well, who's your long shot you'd want to meet of the listeners?
Oh, Wes Cranford.
I think Wes Cranford is mine too.
Absolutely, Wes Cranford.
Oh shit! Because it's so impossible.
Yes.
Now you want it to happen.
And the Morrisons too.
Oh, the Morrisons would be great, and that's easier. They visited Chicago. It's just they're not that far. The Morrisons, and then Wes Cranford. Somebody's going to have to.
Far, aren't they in Canada?
They're in Canada, but it's a lot closer than Australia. To meet Wes Cranford, somebody will have to travel a really long way. Or maybe both parties travel.
You're definitely not going to Australia.
I mean,
barely get out of the house.
I would like to visit. I've heard giant spiders.
What's the last foreign country you've been to?
Oh man, that would be foreign country.
Yeah.
Would be probably it was Oktoberfest. We did a little
to Germany,
Amsterdam, Germany, and Prague. But that was was like 2014.
Oh, okay.
So it was like
I thought it'd been longer than. I mean, that's still a while, but
that's still a long time ago. No, I think that's the last time. Yeah, that was the last time. That was a great trip. Fucking Oktoberfest in Munich is wild. Let me tell you. All right, wait. I got more comments about Venom: The Last Dance. This one from Jamie Robinson, Mr. Throwback Thursday, Jamie Robinson podcast, or Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast, hosted by Jamie Robinson. He says, first, let me say I have liked all of the Venom films. They don't take themselves too seriously, and Tom Hardy is fun to watch. My only issue is when the symbiotes just start merging with any old host and kicking ass like it's Iron Man 3 out there. Wasn't the whole issue in the first film that the symbiote had to match perfectly with the host or it would kill them? Okay, one more. When Eddie's captured by the Six, he notes that he, again, left his shoes behind. The next action scene, Venom says how good their pair of shoes actually is. He shouldn't have any shoes. There was a lot of scenes about his shoes in this movie. Like the dog ate his Crocs, and then he had boots, and then he was dropping shoes. It was strange.
Yeah, I forgot about the shoe stuff, too.
A lot of shoe stuff. But he's also right about, you aren't supposed to match the symbiotes. They can just jump on anybody.
I forgot about that.
They
Yeah,
can
that
just
was
jump
the whole
on
thing.
anybody and Starfall. Okay, sure. And then moving on, I got a couple of comments about our Nightmare on Elm Street review from last week. From Instagram, Dirk Wood commented, such a fun review. You should definitely watch some others in the series. Lots of memorable stuff. And then he says, Imran, please check out It's What's Inside on Netflix. Go in blind. I think it's right up your alley. It's a head fuck material. I saw the thing. I don't know what it's about. Good recommend. I might check that out. And then this is fun, all right? This all ties back into a couple of fun things. Brian Goff and Jamie Robinson reminded me that in 1988, there was not one, but two rap songs about Freddy Krueger, all at the same time. The first one that I loved was called A Nightmare on My Street, the third single from their album, He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper. It comes out in 1988. Anthony, have you ever heard of this song or seen this video?
No idea.
I remember it.
You remember it? There's a nightmare on my street.
That's right.
It uses the music from the movie in the video and the song. Basically, he's rapping about going to see the movie, and then this guy, Fred, starts haunting him in his dreams, right? And he calls him Fred, and Fred gets some bars. It's another guy playing him, another guy voicing him. The movie was originally considered to be included on the soundtrack of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, but the producers didn't want to do it, and they sued Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince's record label for copyright infringement. They forced the label to destroy the music video for the song, but it's on YouTube. You can watch it, and they settled out of court. There's a disclaimer in front of the video and on the vinyl record that says this song is not part of the soundtrack. It's not authorized, licensed, affiliated with Nightmare on Elm Street. The other song about Freddy was on the soundtrack. It was from the Fat Boys. It's called Are You Ready for Freddy? This video is about their Uncle Fred has left them an inheritance, and they have to spend the night in this haunted house to get the inheritance. And not only that, Robert Englund is in the video as Freddy Krueger, rapping as Freddy Krueger.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty hilarious. He gets bars. This was a weird time in the 80s where you had two. I liked the Will Smith one a little bit better, just because I liked that first album. They were funny. The Fat Boys were pretty good too. But I had forgot about all this, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I used to listen to Nightmare on My Street all the time.
I gotta listen to more Fat Boys.
Fat Boys. They're not bad. They're not a complete joke hip hop. So, anyways, thanks for filling us in and reminding me. Let's finish with some. What are we watching, Anthony? What do you got? You watched a football game in Oregon.
I saw a couple football. I saw Illinois and Oregon live. I watched the Bears game. Both games were a disaster. Don't want to talk about them. But on the flight home, on the flight there and the flight home, the flight there, I listened to Donald Trump on the Undertaker's podcast.
Oh Jesus, he went on the Undertaker's too.
He's been going on a podcast run. He's been with Theo Vaughn and Schultz. I think he's really trying to appeal to that, podcast crowd. I think it's actually
the dude bro demographic. Absolutely.
I think it's smart. And then I listened to him on Rogan on the way home, and I took a red eye, and I was so riveted by the podcast that I didn't even sleep on my red eye home. I mean, I don't know that, I don't know enough to know if what he's saying is complete bullshit or not. Yeah. Probably a lot of it is, but I was very entertained.
75% of it is bullshit.
Did Rogan try to call him out on shit?
No.
Not really call him out. I mean, that's not really Rogan's style. He did try to, they talked about the election fraud and different things. But what I liked about the pod is that I did like that Trump just got to talk and they had a conversation, because I found him to actually be kind of humanizing at that during the thing. Like I found him to be kind of interesting, and I found if what he's saying is true, I thought like he actually came off pretty well.
Interesting.
He was asking Rogan questions about stuff. Like they were just having a conversation. In the beginning, he was doing his whole stuff, and at one point, Rogan's just like cuts him off. He's like, "We've heard all this. I want to hear this." Like,
can he cut the shit?
Yeah,
that was
once
kind of cool.
Once he cut the shit, did you listen to it?
Not all of it. I've listened to like bits and pieces.
Yeah, he tells them, basically, let's cut it out and let's talk about this. And once they got to a point where they understood each other's vibe, I thought it was actually pretty good, pretty entertaining. I don't know. Again, might not be any of it might not even be factual. But
I just think that if he did make any headway with that interview, that Madison Square Garden rally was bad.
Well, that was bad. Yes. That was so bad where his own people had to come out and distance themselves from Hinchcliffe. Yeah,
it wasn't a good choice. I think it's almost like he sabotaged Trump. It was weird.
Kind of did.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Just real quick on the pod too. I think it was. There are things he's saying where I'm like, if he's just a compulsive, he's either a compulsive liar or there's like truth to a lot of what he's saying. Like he was really going in about like what the environmentalists, how they stop him from stuff, and like there were things where he was speaking in a way where I could understand that he was experienced. Like he was actually kind of exposing things, and like at one point he was even like he's basically talking about how the environmentalists stop him from doing things a lot of the time, and that they're making money off of it, and it's not actually out of like altruistic reasons, it's for selfish reasons. And then at one point he goes, and if I was those guys, I would do it too. He's like, I get what they're doing, but they're fucking me, basically. And I love how he like just tosses people, like he just will casually call people stupid, or like he's like, Comey, oh man, he's a stupid son of a...
That's the thing, as a
low
character,
IQ,
he's kind of entertaining.
It is funny, like the way he speaks. He does come off when you put him in this like long form talk. I won't say he comes off like the most relatable, but he comes off a lot more relatable than when you have CNN like trying to skewer him for like 5 minutes.
See, I think that if he actually listened to people and people that were looking at his best interest, and they would say, hey, listen, you got to cut the bravado and constantly putting people down, and people want to see that you have solutions and what those solutions are going to be, and not spend so much time doing all these comparisons and how much better. You point out things that people did wrong and state them obviously. I think that other people like are better at state. I don't know why people rallying behind Trump. I think the reason is because he's like a wild card and he's got this arrogance and I think that arrogance helps him like wield his power a little bit more better. Or a little bit like, cause like the whole idea is that Kamala Harris says, well, we were going to pass this bill, but Trump stopped it. And I think that's actually the weakest thing that she could say, because it shows how much power he has. He can exact his power and throw his weight around. And
they got into that bill.
And that bill, that bill's, who knows what's really on it, whatever. I didn't read it, so I can't. But the fact that people, they're saying, oh, well, he stopped them from doing a bill. I'm like, well, don't you want somebody that can stop or make bills happen? And isn't we want things to happen? So it's just strange that he's able to use this kind of weird arrogance to make things happen. And I think, I don't know what's going on.
Well, what was also kind of, I thought it was amusing. First off, I'm on a flight from Oregon to Chicago, two very liberal areas.
And you got this thing up on the screen.
And I'm literally holding my phone, and it's Trump just talking the entire time. It's in dark too, so anyone that looks over can see him.
Everybody can see
Trump.
that shit.
And I'm just sitting there giggling the whole time. And I just thought to myself, man, these people must think I'm just this motherfucking racist.
Like, oh God, we got one of them on this
this
flight.
MAGA guy. Listen to this.
Listen, the most important thing is we've all learned that Arnold Palmer's got a big dick. I think that's the biggest thing that has come out.
Hey, listen.
I had no idea.
If they name a drink after you, usually it's because you
gotta have a big dick.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
I don't know.
He talked for like 20 minutes about how big Arnold Palmer's penis was.
Oh, really?
You
That's
can look
hilarious.
it up. Yes. He's like, I shouldn't talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. And he went on talking about it.
I always laugh when he insults people because he does it so casually. Like there's one part where he's talking about going to Iraq, and he flew in the middle of the night. Tells this long story. And then he lands to, deal with ISIS, and the generals are like, do you need some rest? He's like, no, I'm here to figure out what the hell's going on out here. He's like, if Biden flew over here, he'd take a nap for 4 days and not even leave with a meeting.
Motherfucker.
And then he was talking about Kamala. Can you imagine? He goes, can you imagine Kamala on here? If Kamala was on here, she'd be on the floor comatose. You need to call a medic. She couldn't even put together 2 sentences.
So, it's funny.
Very low IQ person. Very low IQ.
When I saw, he says that he loves saying that, but when I saw,
he loves repeating the thing.
Yes. When I saw he went on the show, my first thought was like, holy shit, Kamala's got to go on the show. Like, yeah.
Rogan says on there he wants her on. She's not doing it.
She should.
He said he would talk to her, and his goal would be to humanize her, like he said he would have a conversation with Trump.
Listen, if you're Kamala, you see this, you're like, fuck, I gotta go. This is uneven. Now this is uneven.
Not to make this super political, but the problem with Kamala's public perception, other than the fact that 1, she wasn't actually elected to do this, is 2. Anytime she talks, she's not a very good speaker, so it's just all word salad, and to me at least comes off like she's just saying nothing.
I think
that's exactly what a politician.
That when she has a definitive answer, she does answer, but when you know that she's dodging something, it does turn into work. So I mean, they both do that, but I think you expect it from Trump because he's kind of like a joke of a candidate sometimes. So. But when she does it, she's supposed to be like this district attorney, that's supposed to, that their job as an attorney is supposed to be able to talk to people and make a case for something. So
she comes off like your drunk aunt.
Well, the thing is, it just doesn't ring. It doesn't say district attorney, high powered attorney who can talk, and litigate. Right. So there's an incongruence there to me.
Listen, we may or may not have an answer very soon.
When is the election?
I think that my prediction is nobody wins.
I feel like we're not gonna know.
They're just gonna have a jump ball
that day at all. So God, all I'm gonna say is God save us all.
So this is the way it works out. Okay, if Trump wins, then he can be like, "Well, you guys say elections are fair, so I guess I won."
Right.
Because they're saying there's never any tampering and whatever.
Yeah. And then it's going to be the other story.
So he's going to say that, or if he loses, he's going to say that it's fake. So
it's fucked either way. Everyone just hang on tight, strap in, and stay inside. Ruggs, what'd you watch? Anything?
Nothing. I was very busy, and all I got to do is I listened to bits and pieces of a lot of this stuff that was going on with Trump, just because it's entertaining. And Joe Rogan interviewing him was entertaining to me. I thought it would be fun to listen to. Watch some of the MSG, Tony Hinchcliffe torpedoing the whole freaking thing. Wow, it was terrible. And nobody was laughing either. Like, I didn't get nobody laughed in the audience.
Well, New York has a huge Puerto Rican population. So.
Yeah, that just seems stupid. Yeah, whatever. So I didn't really say anything good. I think I watched a movie, but we can't really talk. Can we talk about what we watched?
I will. This message is for the Morrisons. We have both watched Another Wolf Cop. There will be a review on Patreon
very shortly. Yeah.
Shortly. This week, next week. I was also really busy last week, so I didn't get to watch a lot, except I did randomly, after watching The Penguin last night on HBO Max, I saw that movie Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's latest movie. And I heard it was bad. And I was like, let me check this out. And well, if you've seen the trailer, you know the premise. It's a pop star concert. The father brings his daughter. He sees cops everywhere, finds out that the police are using innocent people to set a trap for a serial killer called the Butcher. And in the trailer, they tell you this man is the Butcher. And he's trapped in there. So you're going in this going, okay, it's M. Night. Is there a twist? I will just say, without spoiling too much, this movie's ridiculous. You will roll your eyes so hard, you're going to pass out. It's so contrived. There's so much dumb shit. A lot of it takes place in an arena, where it's M. Night's daughter is also the pop star. And the illogical, like the police are incompetent, the staff. I work in an arena and I'm going, this is bullshit. This would never happen. He gets let in all these places. He can hear conversations down the hall when the door is ajar, just clearly. He can hear a woman talking in a loud-ass concert that's like 20 feet away. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And to spoil a little bit, this is essentially if this was like a Taylor Swift concert, this is what happens. Imagine this Taylor Swift concert. She finds out she set up this trap, and now she's going to decide to take this guy down herself. It's kind of what happens. It's fucking ridiculous. M. Night's daughter is not a very good actor. Also, they did stage like a whole original pop songs. I feel like what happened is she's like, Dad, can you help me launch my music career? Make a movie around this, because there's so many musical shots of this concert. And then the second half is just kind of ridiculous. And
so it's an obvious
here's the thing. You think there's going to be a twist? There's no fucking twist. I don't know what happened to M. Night. He used to be good.
What do you mean?
He used to be good. He used to make really good things. And this was just like,
well, M. Night's had a weird career because I just listened to the Sixth Sense.
Yeah. The rewatchables. Yeah.
They talked about M. Night and his career, how he started out and everyone was like, oh, he's the next
Spielberg,
like,
they said.
Spielberg, yeah. And then he got too into the twist and started making some really bad movies. But then they said it was interesting because he had a renaissance with Split.
Sure, yes, and Glass and that other one.
Yeah. Glass and Split and had like his own universe that he created.
Yeah, it was all right.
He's had a very interesting career. And I don't know. He's obviously his career's not done, but like I don't know where you would what his legacy is.
I think he's got three decent movies, and I think
which three are you referring to?
I think that Unbreakable,
Unbreakable,
and Signs and the Village are good.
But you think Sixth Sense is decent? I think it's a great movie.
No, I'm like Sixth Sense is great, but I think he's got three other decent movies.
Got it.
And
so yes, those early ones, he was hitting something with Signs and the Village.
Unbreakable is very good.
Yeah,
I like Unbreakable.
So then Signs is okay, and the Village is actually not too bad. So they're actually a good host of movies. Then like once he did Lady in the Water, whenever he started doing shit for his kids,
so Lady in the Water flops. The Happening about trees kind of flops. Then he does The Last Airbender, big fucking flop.
Terrible.
Bad.
Then he does After Earth, another big fucking flop. Then it kind of gets okay with The Visit, and then Split. Split is pretty good. Glass is not great. It's okay. I haven't seen Old. I heard Knock at the Cabin is pretty good. And The Servant, but Trap was just fucking ridiculous. So it's not good, unfortunately.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah,
that's too bad too, because isn't he? You guys are pretty close, right?
I mean, he's a Somalian.
Yeah, that's kind of your area of the world, right?
So
he's not an Anjani, okay?
He's not an Anjani. He's a Somali. He is in the movie too. He's got a cameo. He plays like
really?
Yeah.
He went to New York University. He went to Pratt.
Yeah.
It's all.
I mean, to come out with a Sixth Sense is phenomenal.
Sixth Sense is great.
Yeah.
That's also, we've talked about it, but that's one of the best years ever in movies.
And he's never, I don't think you can ever top that, unfortunately. And I don't know if he's even trying, but that is just, it was what it was, and it was amazing. All right, that's it. Your assignment, fellas, Agatha finale this week, episodes 8 and 9. We will review that next week. Anthony, where can the listener find you?
I will not be out in Northwest. I will be in Chicago this weekend. So
find them there.
Is it nipply out yet, or is it still all right?
It's actually nice.
It's not too bad.
It's like 60, 70. It's supposed to be 80 also later in October.
Tomorrow's supposed to be 80 degrees. Yeah, it's very unusually warm.
This close to Halloween, it is weird. Regs, where can the listener find you?
You can find me at Rugboy Show on X. Come follow me. I'm not really doing much because I don't want to be canceled. I don't know.
You got to tread lightly. Tread carefully.
I'm not fucking with anyone anymore.
Most important thing, listener, what you could do for us, share the show with your friends, tweet it, post it, send it to someone.
I mean, would you follow me on fucking Twitter or X if I was just sitting there complimenting people all the time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, with a boring ass. When I was fucking with people, that's when it was fun.
That's when it was fun.
You should just message all the people you used to war with and just message them every day. Have a great day.
Yeah,
yes. A little positivity is always nice to read.
Yeah, it's not
on
fun
the
to
X.
follow. Yeah.
It's a weird place. It's a weird place.
I
now.
apologize.
That's it for us. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Next time.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit. Thing I offered you a chance to be a cop, and you blew it.
Somebody touching my spaghetti.
That's a classic.
Somebody touch my spaghetti.
Jock and Nerd.